A very good evening from the students of HUS. I'm Vishwesh.
And I'm Sasi.
Today we're here as a part of our Looking Ahead initiative, an ongoing CAS activity taken up by the students of BP1 and their teachers to interview experts across various professions. As students of individuals and societies, the primary objective of this project is to gain perspectives on the impacts of COVID-19 on different strata of society.
That said, we're here with Mrs. Prashanti Prasad. And Mrs. Prasad is an accredited advocate with over 23 years of experience in the Supreme Court of India and has practiced in all areas of law due to her dual PG postgraduate in constitutional and administrative law. She is now the legal head of the BGR group and has kindly accepted to share her viewpoints on the current affairs. Thank you for joining us, Mrs. Prasad. Shall we begin?
Thank you very much. I'm very happy, or rather, let's say I'm honored to be of some help to the younger generation.
In what ways did your firm adapt to virtual working and social distancing in response to COVID-19?
See, at the moment, as you rightly said, I was working in BGR as the legal head. So the moment the COVID hit in end of March, we were very clear that we have to abide by the social distancing and the norms. Unfortunately, the judicial framework and all the ancillary departments were very cooperative in that. So we started the virtual court hearings. We started online discussions, which were already in place because we keep doing a lot of international arbitrations, which always used to happen online. So it was not much of a difficulty for us to adapt into the virtual media.
What were the job-specific advantages that you gained from the lockdown procedures?
Job-specific is earlier we used to be forced to travel a lot with regard to meetings and discussions with the legal team, the technical team. But now it was much more better, and that was a lot of time saving, a lot of finance saving. And it was more of, since it's only that you're not sitting in a room. Earlier, it used to be a physical meeting, but I personally feel that due to the lockdown, the opening up the virtual platform for the meetings and conduct of proceedings, it actually enhanced the efficiency. Because I always believe in one thing is for one to be efficient, whether it's in the profession, whether it's in your personal life, you need to be more happy. Earlier, the distance factor, the traveling time, the distance from your family, all these were reduced to a larger extent, let's say by force on the COVID scenario. But now it seems it's a blessing in disguise. Yes, the con of it is you forget the 9 to 5 work. Now it is morning 5 o'clock to night, God knows what time. It depends on because if it's, let's say US or UK time, what we have to do it, then the night goes for a toss.
Do you think they should be implemented, like the advantages? Do you think they should be implemented or retained after everything goes back to normal?
Absolutely. Because it's more effective. It's more effective. And the fact remains that when you are having a physical meeting, you tend to lose time more. You tend to you tend to digress away from the main point. But here, because of your virtual platform, there is a time specific schedule with you, and you try to fix it to that schedule, and you try to do your homework before that. Earlier in the normal situation, we used to take it, okay, we can still do it sitting over there. But that sort of a lax attitude is much less. At least from my junior team, I feel that they've become more efficient now. So I would personally vouch for, yes, let's go on with the virtual thing.
So the third question is, to what extent do you think India's current vaccine policy abides by the crux of Article 21, right to life of the Indian Constitution?
Absolutely, it's fully compliant. Saying that, I'll tell you, or rather, I'll just share my view with you. There's nowhere in the world where there is a vaccine which is developed which is 100%. It's hardly, let's say, the gap or the grade is between 60 to 70%. And that way we look at it, Indians are more resilient, we are more adaptive, and fair enough, we are also ready to cooperate and comply with the things. Everybody may say that, okay, we are not following the rules, but I have seen a lot of other countries where I have often felt we are in a much, much better country, taken that into consideration, including London. So I feel that as a vaccine policy of India, that's the best what we can have now.
You
Yeah.
would think prioritizing the vaccines to certain groups, age groups of people, violates the right to life prescribed by Article 21.
No, it doesn't. We have to understand what is. See, Article 21 definitely talks about reasonable restrictions. The concept about reasonable restriction always differs on the present situation, on the facts in hand. We've got to understand the policy of vaccination where it has been. I will not say it's restricted to groups. What they have said is the priority should be given to certain age limits because the effect, or let's say the adverse effect of the vaccine on that particular age group is far, far dangerous. So the government has decided, okay, first vaccinate them, let them be careful, the rest can follow later. So it's squarely within the principle of reasonable restriction. So it's not a violation. Like, I'll just share a personal thing with me. Like, I'm not over 60, but my husband is over 60. So if I say that no, he's been given a priority of getting vaccinated first, so my fundamental right under 21 is literally violated, it would be the stupidest thing in the world. The doctors also refuse to give me vaccination, saying that you've got to cross 60 before you get it done on the first thing. But see what's happened now. Let's say a couple of 3 weeks after that, they've opened it up. So let's learn the law of patience first. You're youngsters, so you should rather advocate reasonable restriction. Now that you're talking on the subject, I would like you to explore one small fact. I don't want you to answer me. The way the media is reporting certain things, I'm not talking about the vaccination policy. Do you sincerely feel that it is violation of your Article 21 or a freedom in whatever manner? I leave you to explore which are the areas what I'm meaning. I don't want you to even give. I want you to apply your brains. So there's nothing free of cost. There is
Understood.
nothing called as unbridled freedom in the world.
Got it. Uh, the next question, ma'am, is related
So,
to the farm laws.
yeah,
So, coronavirus has financially and socially impacted all strata of the society, and
sure.
the recently introduced farm bills have caused mass protests and demonstrations in India, as
Mm-hmm,
people worry that it might cause further economic instability.
mm-hmm.
So, what are your thoughts on the farm bills of 2020, and do you think it'll help businesses and farmers get back on their feet after COVID-19?
Okay. I'll ask you a simple question. You got to genuinely give me the right answer, right?
Hmm.
Have both of you gone through the farm laws?
Yeah.
You've read it?
Yes.
Okay. Now, I'd like to ask separately to you, both you and Vishwesh. Now, can you tell me what is your perspective about the farm laws, not on the political front?
Hmm.
I'm talking about the legal front.
Hmm.
Since you're interviewing a lawyer,
Hmm.
I'll give you my perspective after that and why I have that feeling.
Okay.
So, what is your look at the farm law, Shashi?
Ma'am, personally, I feel like it helps the farmers.
Yes.
It takes out the middleman, which is the agent,
Mm-hmm.
but then it sort of widens their distribution channels, and
Mm-hmm.
so they can sell all over India, and the prices might fluctuate for the people who are buying, but it'll stay constant throughout. So right
Mm-hmm.
now, let's say if the price of tomatoes is like 40 rupees per
Mm-hmm.
kg,
Mm-hmm.
then in like a month or so it might go to 60. But then
Mm-hmm.
after the farm laws have been implemented, it
Mm-hmm.
might stay 50 for a long time. And
Okay.
yeah, so that's basically my thoughts on
And Vishwesh, what about you?
I'm going to be very honest, I haven't delved deep into it. I
Okay.
only know about the news, that's it.
Okay, fine. Fair enough. I'm very happy that both of you have given an honest opinion. Okay. Vishwesh, I only suggest one thing is as a student, I'm not talking, you don't have to be a student of law. As long as you are a student of society, before you hear a news or you try to rely on the news, first find out what is the basis of the news. Now, Shashi, I'll tell you that my view is exactly like yours. People who are protesting in the news, I'm again telling you news. That's why I immediately told that let's not talk about the political front. Because there's a bad habit in our country is we try to politicize every issue without understanding what is actually the impact of farm law. It is like this. Like, see, COVID-19, we have finally found a vaccine, right?
Yes, ma'am.
But COVID-19 had to arrive for us to work on the vaccine. There has to be pain, there has to be loss. So everything can't be a bed of roses. I have gone through the farm laws in detail because I'm basically a lawyer. And I do not find anything in the farm laws which mar the society.
Hmm.
When I mean the society, I'm talking about the real farmers,
Hmm.
not the Chandigarh group who are the ustads of farm law.
Hmm.
Because they are not even the middlemen, they are the top henchmen who make money.
Right.
Okay, so when you talk about the farmers, the real farmers, none of them are aggrieved.
Hmm.
It's like a flock of sheep. They don't understand what they're fighting against. So my view as a lawyer to the farm laws is, why don't we give the opportunity for it to be implemented before raising a finger on the flaws? Nothing can be 100% perfect.
Hmm.
There will be flaws, but that flaws can only be eradicated once you actually know on ground. So I'll fully vouch for the farm laws. The legislation of farm laws definitely will have some gray areas,
Hmm.
but those gray areas cannot be removed by legislation alone.
Hmm.
That has to come on practice. And Shashi, since you have a slight interest in the law, the eradication through practice is amendment. So I'll fully support the farm laws. Only thing what I'll say is, let us give it a chance to be implemented before we raise an objection to it.
Got it,
You'd
ma'am.
like to you'd like to ask me something more on that?
Yes, ma'am.
Sure.
So, I mean, we sort of established what the objective of the government is, but
Yeah.
so why do you think the government is trying to implement it though? So what extent do you think the government can be able to, sorry, will be able to fulfill their goals using the farm laws?
They can. As you
Right.
said rightly in the beginning, as a student, at this young age, you're able to understand that the principal motive of the government is to eradicate the middlemen.
Hmm.
Unless some strict measures are taken, this lobby of middlemen can never be removed. It has to be B2B or B2C. We know under the commercial transaction, right?
Hmm.
It has to be farmer to customer.
Hmm.
It should not be farmer to middleman to customer.
Hmm.
It may be difficult in the beginning,
Hmm.
but ultimately, if the farm laws, as and when it is implemented, you will see a rise in the economic status of every person. And the
Hmm.
ultimate goal of the government to eradicate poverty, that will be really done, which is what politicians don't want.
Understood, ma'am.
The next question, ma'am. This is not
Yeah,
about the process anymore.
yeah.
So, in what ways do you think the legal field as a whole helped various industries stay on their feet during COVID-19?
I'll not say that the legal field has helped very much in allowing the industries to stay on feet. The only thing what they have done is, I'll say to a certain extent, what they did is they got a moratorium for the uh, smaller industries who are facing the debts. Earlier, there's something called as NCLT, where the financial problems of a company leads it to liquidation. So the NCLT laws were kept on stay for a long time. That's the only contribution as far as I feel what the judiciary or the legal fraternity as it is have done as of now, as far as COVID-19 is concerned, because there is no other area where they could have helped. But yes, that was a big relief because otherwise, so many companies would have wound up in between because of the bank debts and everything. Bankers behind the companies, they would have forced them to go bankrupt. But there, a moratorium has been given. So that's a big leap.
So, as the courts were closed and the cases were suspended for some time, what
Mhm.
effective methods can you think of in order to expedite the cases and reduce the backlog?
Shashi, there was no complete closure of the court.
Okay.
What the courts had done is, instead of the physical hearing, after a month, they had
Hmm.
started the virtual sitting. The
Okay.
only delay or the snag which happened was for for the courts to be digitalized.
Hmm.
Because for virtual, because initially there were the cheating trouble for the virtual hearings because people had to reach. But now even the litigants, the clients, everybody are feeling the better portion of it because they are able to sit at home and they are able to deliver.
Hmm.
So, to a larger extent, I feel that courts have been able to reduce the backlog.
Okay.
They've been able to reduce the backlog to a large extent.
Okay.
To a
So
large
is
extent, because the virtual hearings are much more effective.
hmm,
Of course, only those cases where there needs to be a very long argument, but even that has started now.
okay.
Earlier, it only used to be the short matters, but now even the final hearings are happening over the virtual platform.
Got it. So because it's more effective, it's going by faster, and so the backlog is
Yes,
decreased.
yes.
Understood.
How did COVID-19 help you develop a positive outlook for the near future? Now, this doesn't have to be restricted to the legal field alone. It could be a general view as well.
It was a question of retrospection. After a long time from the hurry burry, and it was that, what do you say? Just running for work, completing the work, coming back. This was really a time for retrospection to have an unwind and really realize what is it that you want out of life. And I'm happy to say that I found my answer. My answer is do what makes you happy. And Shashi, this advice is for you.
Hmm.
Don't run after money.
Understood,
That
ma'am.
will never help you. Okay?
Understood.
And never seek a career, because we've all done that mistake at one point of time. COVID-19 has really forced us to. That's why I said it's a time for retrospection. It's
Hmm.
really allowed you to stay back, think back, value the things what you have in life.
Hmm.
I keep telling my family, I keep telling my proteges, everyone, understand the value of the things in life what you have. Don't run after what you don't have,
Hmm.
because otherwise at some point of time, like each one of us, we'll end up regretting. If that word if should not come into any one of your youngsters lives. Do what makes you happy. The
Okay,
word
ma'am.
is happy. Vishwesh, do what makes you happy. Academics is not everything.
Oh no, I
It is
agree.
not. It is not. Take it from a person who's seen life quite a lot. But
Yes,
what each one of you, what I would like to see each one of you youngster who's really carving out a future for yourself, you should always have a smile on your face. The smile should extend to your eyes and to your hearts. When I say the smile should extend to your heart, means I want you each to be really genuinely happy.
So, to close this interview on a
Sure.
positive note,
Sure.
would you like providing any message to your audience? Well, to our audience.
I'd like each one of you to learn, not study. I hope I'm making myself clear when I say learn and not study.
Hmm.
Keep observing things around you. Keep appreciating the smaller things what you have. Be happy in what you're doing. Most importantly, learn from everything around you. Everything. Even a small child can teach us a lot of things.
Hmm.
A very old person can teach us a lot of things. And try to sit quiet for some time in a day. I mean, quiet means 10 minutes a day. Unwind whatever you have done. Because when you're retrospecting yourself, you will find that you'll really find a meaning in life. And meaning in life is something much, much different than what we are all seeing. See, probably I'm reaching my 60s, so don't think that I'm giving you spiritual or what you call as a philosophical nature, because my child also keeps telling me that. But what I really feel is reduce the speed for material comforts. I'm not saying material comforts is not required. Definitely it's required in life. But reduce the speed for gaining it. Because I don't know, I had a judge, a retired judge who taught me the word of, do you know, I'm just showing you something. Do you know this thing? Just see my hand. Just point a finger towards me, both of you, right? What does it mean?
um, it's just
There is
I
a
don't
very
know,
deep
ma'am.
meaning behind it. You know what? You're pointing a finger at me, right?
Hmm.
But where are these three fingers pointing?
Towards myself.
What does it mean? When I'm trying to point out one error to another person, the three fingers are showing three errors from myself. You understand the word of retrospection?
Got it. Yes, ma'am.
So I want each one of you. to think back, sit back, think, and see the larger meaning of life is to be happy, and most importantly, give back to society what society is giving you.
Hmm.
Give back to the societies, because we are all privileged that we've been able to get something, right? I'm not talking in the terms of money. Let's say you're doing your IB, you're very, very fortunate to be in such a prestigious course. Okay, you're all aiming for going into good universities, right? So, what is the question of understanding or having all these degrees and accolades and everything? You need to give back at some point of time and be proud of what you do. Really be proud of yourself, of your family who takes you over there, and most importantly, your own country. Because ultimately, because you're an Indian, you're able to survive, you're able to succeed. I
Yes,
wouldn't
sir.
say that about every other countryman, no. But there's a saying: you go to the corner of Timbuktu, you'll find an Indian over there,
Hmm.
isn't it? And most
Yes, sir.
importantly, you will find a dosawala there wherever you go, because he knows to live the world,
Right.
and that's the skill of surviving, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
So my message to each one of you is: aim for the skies, believe in yourself. Most importantly, be happy and do what you want to be happy about.
So that marks the end of this interview, ma'am. Once
I
again,
don't know whether I've been helpful for you, but I really enjoyed my time with both of you.
It was
we
helpful,
did.
ma'am, and we got some insight as well. Thank you.
Yeah. All the best to both of you.
Thank
May
you,
God
ma'am.
give you all the wishes, and may you both succeed in whatever you're aiming for.
Thank you, ma'am.
Welcome to us.